Hello everyone! I'm the Mighty Blues, and welcome back to Danganronpa 2. Last time, we have begun the class trial for Ibuki and Hiyoko's murder, and boy fucking howdy! I know it's the first amendment, whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't get paid to make these videos anyways. Please like, comment, and subscribe so that way I can get far enough into my content creation path that I can get monetized. Anyways, whatever. All of you have clicked off this video because I'm a worthless shill. I don't know what the hell's going on with this trial. I went into this thinking that Sonia was going to be the killer because she doesn't have an alibi, and the whole imitation murder being a thing, and, you know, Sonia being a true crime girly, probably wanting to take after, like, I don't know, fucking Ted Bundy or something. But no, I'm now starting to think that Mikan is the killer because of one particular thing she said. It was a very easy thing that you could have missed, but, don't worry, Mikan, I didn't miss.
It's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
What? Did we... Alright, we've now learned that canonically, Monami eats mothballs. Okay.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie. Not just that, but Hiyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
Wait, what? It's not that... Wait, hold on. The reason the killer imitated the two victims in the movie, it can be explained that now. To let their accomplice escape, to hide the weapon because they like the movies, to mix up the killing order?
I see.
Wow, that was actually correct.
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Oh, what? Wait, really?
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
What do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
Are we about to do a sword fight with Gundam? Why does it feel like these arguments are so unnecessary?
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like it when Chiaki has sass.
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I seriously thought we were gonna have an arguing match with Gundam, and we are, but, you know, I thought it was gonna be a minigame, and I'm so confused. It's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. With a non-stop debate! Good!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were on the floor. But she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart!
Yeah, this is an easy one. I already know the answer. I knew the answer before this even finished.
Hiyoko died. Was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
Oh, that's a good point, Sonia. So it would have to be Hiyoko's blood because, yeah, Ibuki suffered what would it be, a blunt trauma? Because she was asphyxiated, whereas Hiyoko's throat was slit. And we saw the blood on the floor. So, yeah, she must have had to step on the blood.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
I just now realized something. Before, I had the thought that the killer was using hypnosis to kill Hiyoko, or not Hiyoko, Ibuki. I'm starting to think that the killer, their entire motive was to actually kill Hiyoko. So they killed Hiyoko, and then because Ibuki was sick with the despair disease and she was gullible, the killer would have just easily been able to tell Ibuki to hang herself, and she would have done it. That's all that would have happened. Wow, I really overthought this trial, didn't I?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye!
I had a feeling we were gonna have to sword fight Gundam!
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Don't talk about Hajime's Sunday best when you're about to sword fight him!
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line.
Even Gundam's like, shit, I'm gonna have to write that down.
What? Are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know. You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status. However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
Alright, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Rope used. Oh god, okay. Smudge on the floor. Okay, I think I'm starting to realize what this is gonna be.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor. You can't step on blood that was never there.
Yes, there was blood on the floor.
Just about 1 minute.
The smudge on the floor.
See a nice nightmare?
Okay, I see what I gotta do.
You're saying there was no blood on the floor?
Yes, there was!
Through those words.
Wow, that must have been the easiest rebuttal I've ever
The
seen.
reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Gundam had no fight to him. He really was just all bark and no bite.
Don't say such foolish things! You don't have proof of that at all!
Yes, I do. You look closely. There's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far.
Wait, really? You know, now that it's pointed out, now that Mikan's pointed that out, I guess that makes sense, but I never thought about that. Also, Mikan! How interesting of you to point that out! It wouldn't make sense if she would point it out, but I got my eye on you.
Aside from Mikan, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikan's autopsy?
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Huh? Suicide? I mean, it's a legitimate thought, but I think we've gotten past the point of thinking it was suicide.
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself.
So that implies that if there is a suicide, we have to do a trial. Oh, God.
Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
You know, that makes sense.
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hiyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered.
I guess Nagito wouldn't know because he was one of the people infected with the despair disease. So he wouldn't have known that she was also infected with it at the time.
For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hiyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That's totally impossible! Then she never would have killed her to begin with!
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive! When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
Excuse me, what?
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
Excuse me, what?
She hanged herself, remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw? According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
It must have been another thing to confuse us. It must have been another way for the killer to put the blame on someone else. Because again, it very easily makes it look like it is a murder-suicide. So that's probably what the video is for, to possibly solidify the murder-suicide alibi. When we know that's not true.
Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Yes, Nagito, that's what it means ultimately.
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
I love the fact that Sonia came up with the exact same thought that I did for so long of like, oh, they used hypnotism. Because that's easy. Shit, you know, Ibuki's gullible enough to be hypnotized, especially with the despair disease. But now I'm starting to think that the gullible, like her being gullible because of the despair disease was what convinced her to commit suicide.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something. So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi.
Oh, yeah. Good move, Sonia.
Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
I mean, again, this game was made in like 2012, so I can understand, but like, in the year 2025, literally any surveillance system can be recorded. Like, I have a cheap-ass surveillance camera at my door, and I've got a whole, like, recording backup system for it.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence!
I mean, this makes sense. Yeah, if you couldn't figure out who the killer was based on no alibi, destroy who has the weakest alibi. And based on my assumption, it's Mikan.
Sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
I think I need to actually look at my truth bullets to understand this one, because I'm a little confused.
Exclude the sick people
Oops.
like me.
Didn't mean to shoot that. Wait a minute, Mikan's account is incorrect. I just now looked at this. Right after the Monokuma announcement that morning, Mikan was with Hajime the whole time. No, she wasn't. She fell asleep with Hajime because she went to tell him something, woke him up, and then immediately ran off. And she was alone all the way up until Hajime saw the video of Ibuki. It's gotta be Mikan's account.
And what about the others?
But the real question is, where do I put it?
Right before the morning announcement,
Where do I shoot?
I was told.
Nobody has an alibi then.
Wow, I was actually right the first time! Holy shit! I didn't really know where else to put it, but that was my first suspicion.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
Shut up, Kazuichi!
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
So, oh no, Chiaki's not happy about that. Oh no, Chiaki, no, cover your ears. It wasn't like that.
Too much info.
Damn, she is sly. She is, this girl is so good at hiding her feelings. She's absolutely gonna stab Hajime after this.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagito's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
You know, I went into this thinking one thing and it ended up being another thing. That's very normal for these class trials, but like, how does this not make Mikan suspicious?
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was? Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
The killer had a different reason? But what reason would there be? If that's the case, are we still in the killer's trap? Inside a trap set by one of us? If so, then whose and what kind of trap is it? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea.
Hiya!
Why, hello there, Monami! The moss balls sure look tasty today!
Stop it!
Stop it! Don't characterize me as someone who lives off moss balls! And here's some chance time! Oh, whoa! What's that? Now then, Monami's appeal time starts now! Huh? Appeal time? Your kind-hearted big brother is gonna give you the chance to proclaim your honor! Good luck! Show those jerks who treat you like a red-headed stepchild who's paws! God damn, Monokuma. You know, that's not the first time I've heard that line. My dad used to say that all the time. That's 99% your fault. While you were whining, your time's already running out, so please make your appeal simple. About 30,000 words or so. That's too long. It'll just be a boring appeal. Come on. If your appeal is successful, there might be merchandise opportunities heading your way. I've already seen figurines of Monami. Then I'm Usami. Magical miracle girl Usami. I'm an itty-bitty girl who's sweet like milk. Jeez, I thought a certain robot's little sister was supposed to be the best.
What a disappointment!
Who are you talking about? I have no clue whatsoever. Oh, was that a reference I didn't get either? Apparently that was a reference I didn't get. No, we don't save during an active recording.
I'm Monami. Once again, I've been put in such an unreasonable situation. Seriously, he's like the king of unreasonableness. Why did it turn out like this? We were supposed to have a fun, friendly school trip, but it turned out all bloody instead. No! This definitely cannot be allowed. That's why I want you to remember this. Everyone, do your very best. Don't lose to yourself. And don't forget to save frequently.
I don't save during an active recording, mon ami. The reason the killer did an imitation murder is a reason other than falsifying the murder sequence. I still have no idea what that means. Does something like that even exist?
Huh. It suddenly got quiet in here. Did I confuse you? If so, I wish I could die from self-loathing.
Man, this again.
If that's the case, it would have been just dandy if they had gone ahead and killed me too. If that happened, the imitation would have been perfect. So why didn't they do that?
Well, it's against the rules to kill 3 people in the first place.
That rule is too harsh. I couldn't get killed because of that.
Seriously, just shut up already! Shut up forever!
But I'm thinking about it again, and he's totally right. It feels incomplete.
Because they didn't kill 3 people like the movie did? That's only because of Monokuma's rule.
It's not just that. Come on, try to remember the content of the movie. About the lion that got killed second.
That's the one Hiyoko's body was imitating, right?
Even though we're calling it an imitation, the lion was actually pinned by arrows, right? But Hiyoko's body was suspended by common household duct tape.
Maybe they just used a common substitute because it was too difficult to imitate the arrows.
Well, that's probably it, but that attitude is what makes this feel incomplete. If falsifying the murder sequence was the killer's plan from the very beginning, they should have taken steps to properly imitate it.
But if we never realized it was a half-assed imitation, their entire plan would have been completely useless.
I'm starting to think that this whole imitation murder thing is something that the rest of the characters are coming up with and not the killer. I'm starting to think that the killer themselves didn't actually come up with that. Everyone else just saw the movie and thought, this must be it. Am I right on that? I'm not sure. I'm so lost.
What are you trying to say? Are you saying the imitation wasn't planned?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Gundam, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The imitation wasn't planned. They had a motive, and everyone else is just adding the imitation to the murder.
I'm saying, Hiyoko's murder wasn't.
Oh, is Chiaki actually confirming what I was thinking before about how Hiyoko's murder was not planned? It just happened?
What?
Hiyoko's murder wasn't planned. That was a thought of mine.
I understand that imitation wasn't enough, but aren't you making a bunch of assumptions?
It's not just the poor imitation. There are also other strange details.
Strange details? Like what?
Like, for example, why did Hiyoko go to the music venue?
Why did Hiyoko go to the music venue?
So, you're saying the truth behind Hiyoko's murder is hidden?
She probably went to the music venue to dance. Dance and mourn for Mahiru. That's the only thing I can think of as to why she would go.
I have no freaking clue what you're trying to say.
However, this is getting quite interesting. My 4 dark devas of destruction are getting riled up.
Why Hiyoko went to the music venue? That's the key to all this. I need to find that out, no matter the cost. Oh god, I have to try to figure this out through a non-stop debate? Oh, okay.
Why did Hiyoko go to the music venue? There's no way we'd know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Or she was guided by the will causality.
I have no idea.
That's not it. Maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because she had her own key with her. Meaning that she willingly left her room.
Of her own free will.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, because she had her key to her room with her. And she had locked herself in her room because she couldn't tie her kimono. Oh my god, how did I forget this information? Yeah, she actually went to the music venue because Sonia told her that's where the only full-length mirror was. Because the mirror in her hotel room was rusted. Oh my god, how did I forget that?
So, exactly as I assumed.
If no one called for her, then why did she go?
Hiyoko locked herself in her room because she was being overly cautious of the despair disease, you know? I don't think a person like that would leave their room just because someone called for them.
There's no way she got abducted?
Hiyoko locked the room she was staying in before she went out.
If she was forcibly taken from her room, there's no way she would have had time to lock it.
The killer could have locked her door, right? Just to hide the fact Hiyoko got abducted.
Then they couldn't have hidden her room key that deep in her kimono. They would have put it somewhere more obvious. Otherwise, there's no point in messing with the crime scene if nobody finds the key. At the time, you were the one who actually took out the key, right? Then something like that.
I won't move.
Oh, really? Akane's gonna try to fight?
Are you saying my gut was wrong? This will be my first and last highlight of the day. Why won't you just let me shine already?
No, that's not the issue.
Shut up! Enough with your fancy talk. I'll shut you up right now.
Why does this not surprise me? Why does this fight not surprise me? It's gotta be Sonia's account. I think I can already figure this out before even going into this. It's gotta be Sonia's account.
Inside her room, right? She definitely got abducted or something. The killer forced their way into Hiyoko's room. Forcibly abducted her. The girl is so small and weak looking. And that's why the killer targeted her.
No, what Akane's saying is unreasonable. I need to find an opening and counter her.
Hiyoko was locked inside her room, and that's why the killer targeted her.
But Hiyoko's room was locked. The key was deep inside her kimono, remember?
Yeah, how are you gonna rebut that?
The door herself.
The killer was the one who locked the door.
No.
So what if the key was in her kimono?
Excuse me?
Maybe the killer just put it there later.
That's a lot of assumptions, Akane.
The killer to put the key in Hiyoko's kimono. The killer probably didn't realize she even had the key.
Hold on. Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono was all messed up.
What? Oh, no, that's wrong. Wow, I actually, you know, once again, I had my own idea, and of course it was wrong.
Her kimono was all messed up. There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer.
Allow me to cut through those.
Okay, so I was correct. I just did it on the wrong counter.
The reason Hiyoko's kimono was messed up was because she wasn't able to properly wear it.
Wear her kimono?
Yeah, it's also the reason why she decided to go out on her own.
Hiyoko seemed to be really struggling with wearing her kimono. I believe that was one of the reasons she locked herself in her room. That is why I informed her. I told her that there was a full-length mirror at the music venue, and I suggested that she use it.
Then, the reason her kimono was messed up wasn't because she fought the killer.
Yeah, she went to the venue on her own just to fix her messed up kimono.
I get it. I lost. Boil me, burn me, take off my clothes. Do whatever you want to me.
No! Listen, Akane, you're very pretty, but no.
Hajime, now's your chance. Make her admit defeat. Or better yet, make her do a little something.
Kazuichi, you're disgusting. Listen, again, Akane is a very beautiful woman. No! Okay? No! Come on now! Kazuichi, you're gross. I don't like you. Hell no! Yeah, I agree. Hell no!
Then, the killer probably couldn't have assumed that Hiyoko would go to the music venue.
Though that may not apply to Sonia, since she provided Hiyoko with that information.
Though I knew she would go there, there is no way I could have predicted when she would arrive.
Don't go doubting Miss Sonia, you cretin. I'll put you and your hamster 6 feet under.
No! Jesus Christ, Kazuichi! First you be a crazy pervert to Akane, and now you're threatening to kill the hamsters? That's it. Let's vote for him. He's the killer. Wait, look, the only an evil person would say these things.
Kazuichi, it seems you have quite the fashion sense. Do you want me to incinerate your clothes? Perhaps I could do that while you're wearing them.
Gundam, please stop! For his sake.
Not even Sonia's backing him up.
Huh? What do you mean, for my sake?
Of course. I've already overlooked no less than 10 opportunities to kill you.
Even if the killer couldn't predict it, why did Hiyoko get killed in the music venue?
The only thing I can think of is, it was an unfortunate coincidence.
I did think about that at one point. I think I brought it up in a previous episode, that Hiyoko wasn't intended to be killed. It was just Ibuki. And unfortunately, the killer saw Hiyoko as she was coming out, and that's what destroyed like the camera and everything. I talked about that before, so I'm starting to think that's actually what happened.
Coincidence?
When she went to the venue by herself, she was probably just unlucky and walked in on the crime scene.
Jesus Christ, Hiyoko, how the hell did you end up in the exact same situation twice?
She was killed so there wouldn't be any loose ends?
It probably happened when the killer was preparing to kill Ibuki. The killer most likely had already placed the hemp bag over her head, and without hesitation,
killed Hiyoko.
Because the killer used that coincidence for their crime, it made this case even trickier.
That's the reason they imitated the movie to falsify the murder sequence.
Which means that low-down scoundrel didn't plan on committing imitation murders at first.
Then what was the killer actually planning to do? They've been cunning this far. There's no way they'd kill Ibuki without a plan.
Do you have any ideas?
Damn, we don't know the most important part.
The killer's plan from the beginning. I'm pretty sure we're very, very close. Oh no, Nagito, are you gonna start talking again?
Hey Nagito, any ideas?
Well, I'm sorry, what? We're asking Nagito? We're asking him for ideas? Oh, we really are screwed, are we?
Hey, how long are you gonna stay quiet?
Oh, am I allowed to speak? Oh, I'm so happy I'm getting goosebumps. Everyone actually needs help from scum like me.
I take it back. Stop talking.
So what do you think?
I was thinking about it while I had my mouth shut. But now I'm finally able to come to a conclusion. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide.
Yet thanks, Nagito. I kind of figured that out from the beginning.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I thought there might be a possibility that she faked her death and tampered with the crime scene. But now I remember. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers.
No shit, Nagito! We confirmed that a while ago!
So if she faked her death and walked around the music venue tampering with the crime scene, there'd be bloody footprints left in various places throughout the venue. So that's why I think there's no way she faked her death. There's no way Ibuki committed suicide.
You know, we already finished talking about that a while ago.
Huh? really? That's annoying. I guess I should just awkwardly laugh about it then.
Are you freaking kidding me? There's no limit to how useless you can be!
Oh, wait a minute. Well, don't tell me Nagito's onto something. If Ibuki had blood on her feet, there'd be footprints all over the place if she kept walking around.
That's strange. That's very strange.
This is strange? What's strange?
I see. It's not something we finished talking about. Those footprints. There's still an important clue left that we completely overlooked. Did we? Just as Nagito said, if she had blood on her feet, she would have left footprints. Then why weren't there any footprints? Whoa, but there was blood on the stepladder. So, is that it?
I can prove it with this.
Yeah, she kicked the stepladder.
If Ibuki used the stepladder to hang herself, it's strange that there weren't any footprints on it.
Huh? There weren't?
Yeah, that stepladder was completely clean. No footprints or bloodstains at all.
Wait, so does this imply that Hiyoko actually was killed after Ibuki? Like what we originally thought? Because yeah, this would absolutely make sense. The killer initially planned to kill Ibuki. Ibuki was about to hang herself. Hiyoko comes in, killer freaks out, breaks the camera, slits her throat. Blood gets all over the place, including the back of Ibuki's shoes.
Did you notice such a small detail? How amazing! This is truly the talent of a chosen ultimate.
What are you talking about? You were obviously leading us to this. That's why you brought up the suicide topic after all this time. Nagito Komaeda, you're definitely someone I shouldn't underestimate. I mean, I agree. I don't know if I've ever underestimated him. I probably have. I'm just more so frustrated by how Nagito functions.
But didn't you say you saw that video of Ibuki climbing the stepladder? Then I think there's no doubt that she really did climb it.
Unless there was something funny about that video.
I see. So there was some kind of trick arranged in that video,
But that's something only Hajime would know, since he's the only one who saw that video.
So, just as I thought, it comes down to that. The mystery surrounding this incident is contained in that video. And we're going to discuss more of that video next time. Thank you all so much for watching, and next time on Danganronpa 2, hopefully, we're at least going to get some sort of confirmation on who the killer is, because god damn am I still completely lost. Oh, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.